And let's move on now to our next session, which is all about AI, cybersecurity, and everything in between. Again, another intriguing, thought-provoking discussion to help us get closer to making better decisions around this. Let's do it now. Let's invite now to our stage our panelists and our moderators as well. Please welcome to the stage right now Alberto Orena, Marcio Shao, Luca Dejan. Please come and join us. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for our panelists and our moderator.
Hello everyone, so happy to be here. So I'm a lawyer, so I'm not a technical guy. So I hope today I'll learn a lot of new things, cool things from you today. So to start on, a couple of years ago it was pretty simple when dealing with cybersecurity. If you have won an iPhone 15, don't click on the link, that's all. Right now we have AI, and my mother can get a call today with someone, a scammer using my voice and asking her for money. So since the rise of the AI technology nowadays, how does your team have adapted to these new AI threats? Anyone can answer?
Hello again. Well, I mean, Frank Herbert said in Dune, knowing there's a trap is the first step in evading it, right? And personally, I look at things holistically. Everything is new every time, right? So the Nigerian scam was new at its time. Everything. I mean, we could argue that this has a bigger impact and it's at a crucible and it's like a turning point in our lives and whatnot. I see it much simpler, and I very much suggest that all of you see it just as simple. It's yet another way of doing things, yet another way of targeting people, and we in the cybersecurity industry or business will do our best to both advise you, tell you to be resilient, and defend you. For every nail, there's a hammer, and the hammer shall come on hackers.
For me as a technology vendor, you know, scamming and cybercrime as such is not necessarily cybersecurity. So I kind of look at it in a different way. This is, of course, counted as cybercrime as well. And we do see these hubs being developed in, let's say, third world countries so that people get scammed in first world countries. This is becoming a very profitable business and is counted to the overall, you know, cybercrime, which is estimated to $10 trillion, something like that. Yeah. So it's basically the GDP of Germany, France, and maybe half of Italy. This is really important, and I think companies like Palo Alto Networks, but also other companies out there are doing threat intelligence. They're hunting down these guys and working with local authorities to shut down their hubs from where they scam people around the world.
So I understand the question is about how security teams should approach security for AI, right?
Yeah.
So first step is to build a security program to where you basically have to get your budget and basically split into three. One is for training and awareness. Second part is for controls, preventative controls, and then you will have to save some budget for incident response, because you know for sure that something is going to happen, and you need to have the capacity to respond to those actions.
Okay. I saw this problem as fighting between rational and emotional. We are much more vulnerable when we are emotional affected. So zero trust is not about certifications. It's about training, 24/7. Prepare. It's not about if, it's about when we'll become victims, not of artificial intelligence, of victim of us, because we are the most weakest ring in the chain. We, the human being, but we are the strongest in the same time because we create artificial intelligence, we create security, we create vulnerabilities. So I think that the most important in this ecosystem, it's the human being.
Can I just, I'm sorry, I'm going to cheat a little bit. If the question was actually specific about measures, then segregate data to make sure that information doesn't bleed from user interaction to user interaction. Secure prompts, because prompt security is like the most vulnerable part of AI, like tricking AI into revealing information. My guys do it all the time with the AI that we're doing in the business. And last but by no means least, assume compromise. So what do you do if it does get hacked? And, anonymize the data as well. So if it does get compromised, make sure that the damage is minimal. So the data that gets stolen or bleeded is obviously irrelevant to the hackers.
Thank you very much. I want to make things as practical as possible, so maybe some people from here can learn from others' mistakes. Can you present from your personal experience attacks that were facilitated by AI in your domain of expertise? Something that you have encountered personally using AI?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like the coolest thing. So in the context of assumed compromise, right? There's EDRs, antivirus, firewalls, Splunk sensors, all kinds of Palo Altos, blah, 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 all kinds of technologies. But at one point, as I was saying, I think it's important that we assume compromise. What are our blind spots? Because it's very important to acknowledge, as painful as it is, that we do have blind spots. So one of the things that we're doing is we're training models about normal user behavior. So that's both, customers logging onto our website as well as employees. How does normal behavior look like? And then extrapolating abnormal behavior. To put things in a more practical scenario, the Okta hack. Okta got hacked because a hacker social engineered, actually bribed a support person. $30,000, which for a support person is a lot, for half an hour of TeamViewer access on their computer. Now, this is going to bypass everything. TeamViewer is a legitimate application. TeamViewer traffic is legitimate traffic. And, a support person spending half an hour on TeamViewer is normal behavior. However, learning from that, I was thinking, how do we detect that? Well, that particular support person was not accessing just a single customer file, right? They were accessing all the customer files in a relatively short time frame. And the only way to pick up on that is by training models about how normal interactions look like and then extrapolating abnormal behavior. So this is one of the cooler projects that we're building.
I think that's awesome because, as threats in being pushed by AI are developing, and we see that a lot, that's the reality, to create a new malware, it takes now maybe half a day. It used to take maybe a couple of weeks. You do it with the GPTs went rogue. And the speed and complexity of attacks are have evolved very rapidly. So what we see today, attackers attacking Palo Alto network, it's like 9 million attacks new per day, which have never been before in the past. If we don't use, what Jay was saying, behavioral analytics and train machine learning models that can detect any anomaly and give a sense of confidence that there is a new attack, you cannot fight with standard tools based on signatures, based on non-behavior. So this is the way the world is changing, and yeah, we need to imply machine learning and artificial intelligence so that we can defend ourselves.
So I think that one of the biggest misconceptions with AI security is that the biggest failure of AI is confidentiality. when in reality is integrity and the controls. So is the biggest failure of AI is what AI doing the wrong things. So now we have AI connected to a bunch of tools, and data has become instructions. So data is the new code. Well, before we have code for applications, now any data that we ingest into an LLM can become instructions for the LLM to perform some actions. And that is the bigger risk. So I think we have to put the controls in place to detect misuse of the tools by the LLM.
I think that now we are building the DNA of artificial intelligence. We are information. All of us, we are information. Artificial intelligence is information, is data, yes? Now it's information. Later, we don't know, could be biotechnology, could be flowers, could, I don't know, imitate real persons. So real that we believe that is really real. But anyhow, it's very interesting that artificial intelligence already started to provoke cognitive changes in our information security system in place that human being to provoke cognitive changes, cognitive with corners, in the information security system of artificial intelligence. So we are affected by the information provided of artificial intelligence, and we are affected with our permission. So I think that this is one of the biggest challenges, to align our cognitive perception and to keep our DNA as much as clear as possible.
Okay, thank you. Now I have a question as a business owner. So I understand we have this problem. We also have the solutions, as you said. But some of these solutions sound expensive. Is it affordable, the solutions that we have right now in view of preventing the cyber attacks using AI, is it affordable also for small or medium companies to implement these measures of protection at this point? What do you think?
I mean,
or it's a luxury that only the big ones can afford?
Whenever I go to some international conference, I told them I'm from Romania, and in Romania we have a saying, I'm too poor to buy cheap things. And arguably, I do believe that technology is affordable today. I mean, Google for Business is what, like $10 per user? And you get Gemini, and Gemini is actually a great tool to have, right? So yeah, definitely it's affordable. It scales with the business, small, large, larger.
The perception about my company is that it's one of the most expensive cybersecurity companies out there. It may be true, might not be true. I'm quite confident that it's one of the best solutions out there from a technological point of view. We invest a lot of money into R&D, almost $2 billion per year, which makes, good products to protect any kind of business out there. But artificial intelligence and machine learning has been commoditized in the cybersecurity space. It's maybe more than 10 years now that all the tools have some sort of machine learning embedded in it. I would say yes, there are tools, who cost less than your Netflix account, and you get AI-driven protection. Well, it will not do everything for you, but you can get good protection with a reasonable amount of money if you don't put your money into necessarily all the open source stuff that you're trying to reinvent the wheel. That's at least my take. If you want to reinvent the wheel, then you're going to be spending a lot of money and get quite low protection.
So I think that depends on the technical knowledge of the company. So
I was about to say, get a consultant.
So if I would have to do like just one thing to protect my organization from AI security, would be to put a gateway. So as I said before, I think that one of the takeaways of this speak is data is quietly becoming code. The new code are the instructions that we provide to LLMs. Now, what they can do is something that we don't know because LLMs are non-deterministic responses. So if I will have to do just one thing, we'll do to put an action gateway. So everything is done through the action gateway. This is something easy to implement, and if you have the technical skills in-house, you can do that at a very affordable price.
I don't know what's mean cheap. I really don't know. If you want a car without brakes and seat belts, I think that it's cheaper. Buy it. It's your choice. That's it.
I've seen, non-technical businesses in Romania doing like agriculture. They lost millions of dollars per week because of a cyber attack. You cannot imagine the level of...
Don't react, prevent.
Yes. It could have been very easy.
I mean, very quick example, talking about Google, right? You get Google, I'm not advertising Google, I don't work for Google, but just to give you an example, keep all your files on Google Drive, right, and use all the Google features. Google has bundled in security, not ideal, but it's pretty good. If your computer gets infected with ransomware, for example, just can delete everything, and you have all the files already in Google Drive. I know it might be a leap of faith, but trust the cloud. Like, keep everything, all your stuff on Google Drive, OneDrive, Apple, iCloud, whatnot. So if you get hit by something, you can quickly just continue working with the files that are in the cloud synced. And this is just one of the quick examples that it's cheap and it gives you business continuity.
Maybe expanding on that, I also do trust the cloud quite a lot. These cloud providers know what they're doing. They're the most secure data centers out there in the world. And maybe, on the contrary, if you lock the door today and do an air-gapped environment, you might not be protected because there is insider risk. There are people who are going to be paid to and be already in the system. We've seen it recently. So cloud can be very secure, can be much more secure, and can be a way to do big data analytics, which in cybersecurity is the key. And do it real time, do it at whatever scale, and have this global intelligence engine brain that knows all the cyber threats in the world and can protect you in real time.
Thank you. Since we don't have very much time, I would like to put two questions in one with respect to the future. So, in the future, what is one AI-powered threat that will keep you awake at night? And what is one AI solution that brings you optimism for the future? So one threat that keeps you awake, and one thing that should bring you optimism for the future.
You know, I kept being the first in these things. I'm going to be the last now.
For me, the LLM has been successful at some extent, but I think there's a huge push from all the enterprises out there to build agents. Agents will be clicking inside your browser, will be doing your business processes, will be booking your travels, will be doing a lot for you. And you need to trust them. We are in a position in cybersecurity that people or most of organizations have not implemented a good zero trust strategy on their people. There will be around 80 identities of one person will have probably around 80 agents working for him. So there will be a huge explosion of attack surface identity that we need to provide with this new this new reality.
So for me, there are two. One is, again, data that can become into instructions. Second is, I don't know if you hear about the sleeper prompt injection. These are basically LLMs that perform natural, but they have some keywords that act as a trigger. Like, for example, if you say blue umbrella, it's gonna make a full refund. these kind of things are very difficult to detect, and this is a big concern.
You ask me what is mean in the future, the biggest threat of, I don't know for now what is the bigger threat of artificial intelligence actually. And I think nobody knows. Show me the people, show me that person or that company that could explain to you which is the biggest threat of artificial intelligence now, not in the future, because it's not a predictable issue. It's not actually well known for now how to speak about, how to talk about predictability in the future, just to imagine how could be the evolution of artificial intelligence in connections with human beings or itself.
Yeah, what scares me, I mean, makes a valid point. What scares me is what I don't know and I don't see. I don't know what I don't know, and that's kind of frustrating, you know?
Yes, artificial intelligence, we learn from artificial intelligence really soon.
But if I had to give an example, right? I was kind of teaching adversarial tactics, I think about 10 years ago, and I was telling my class that one of the best tactics for an adversary is to be as quiet as possible, as patient as possible, right? And a concern of mine is exactly the scenario that I was describing, how we use AI in Superbet. We train it on employee behavior, right? I'm concerned that at this point there might be an insider within the infrastructure, and that's there's a non-zero chance that that's happening, right? And I wouldn't know about it, and that they would be patient, and they would learn automatically employee behavior, and they would emulate employee behavior to exfiltrate data. So that's a potential scenario, just to give you an example of something that could be done with AI, right? What's awesome, and this is not for the future, this is now. Development is increasing measurable 5x with Cursor. I remember in my previous talk at AI Expo, I talked about how we have our very own Commander data, and that is awesome. That is so incredible. I never thought that in my lifetime I would get a glimpse of Star Trek. And now with LLMs, I can ask it, it's imperfect, but it kind of fetches the answers very quickly. I don't need to read documentation. I don't need to Google how to do something. I can just talk to the LLM. It's imperfect, by the way, but still, it's really making me understand and do things faster, so yeah.
Thank you very much for the wonderful insights. Unfortunately, the time is up and he's looking scary at me, so thank you very much.
So
ladies and gentlemen, there we are. Hands together for our panelists and our moderator as well.